Having established it versus hype and being sort of interested in alternative development structures, I guess, how do we achieve more sustainable projects, projects that are embedded in community?
I think from the outset the goal of the project was to be extremely performative.
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy to kind of greenwash a project by adding solar panels and, you know, saying you've got double glazing. It's a very different thing to kind of take it to the next level. So it was less a consideration of the aesthetic outcome, although there's obviously an eye to that, and more, how do we make these things perform as well as possible? The main kind of concept or strategy for the building was about trying to balance how a kind of 3 townhouse development would sit in a suburban context. From there, a lot of the floor plan was actually developed as a conversation between Liam and I about how to actually fit the kind of minimum external area in with the program that we needed. So we spent a couple of nights just like chatting, a few beers, and this idea of the slightly shifted floor plate allowed us to kind of fit everything in a super efficient manner. Like, I think they're about 140 square metres, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
You know, you come in to the living area and, okay, you get a sense of space. Up the stairs and the void that we've been able to kind of incorporate through that entry zone. You know, 2 relatively standard sized bedrooms. Good natural light to both, but then you come into the master bedroom and like it's pretty expansive into a full walk-in kind of ensuite.
Yeah, I mean, this was it was an opportunity to build something for ourselves. Like, we intend to be here for 10 years, so we wanted it to reflect, our personal kind of preference. In ours, I grew up with like terrible pine-lined ceilings, but there was like an otherness as a kid, lying in bed staring up at timber and seeing different shapes and patterns in that. And it's something that I have such a strong memory of that. Like, I really wanted to give my kids the opportunity to have that, and maybe that's like indulgent or ridiculous, I don't know, but there was something kind of primal there. I was like, this is what I kind of feel like this is a valuable investment. So little things like that we tweaked around the edges.
And Chris is an architect, he can't help himself.
I can't help it.
Can't help himself, but that's okay. You know, for us, our journey is probably a journey of, being involved in multiple projects like this over the next period. So for Katya and I, projects like this is just such a good opportunity to test, push boundaries, live in what you've helped to create, learn from that, and continue that journey. That's part of our journey is what we do and trying to make what we do better. Pared back simplicity, focused in on areas. Went with that lighter colour palette. So ultimately, if we're to sell that and someone else is to move in, it's very easy for them to then come in and make it their own.
We invested in active heat recovery ventilation, which after living with it, I probably would never go back.
No.
But what it does is constantly old air is being drawn out of this building from the bathrooms and the kitchen, and fresh air is pumped in to all of the bedrooms. And so my brother was just down 2 nights ago, and he got up the next day. He was like, I had the most amazing sleep. I was like, yeah, that's because he was sleeping straight underneath a fresh air vent like all night. It's like sleeping outside.
Oxygenated, yeah.
That's it.
You're in a hyperbaric chamber the whole time. Because this is a really important point. These systems and this technology. We've had to commission the building. It takes a bit of time. You just don't switch it on. It doesn't just work straight away. We've tuned it in. But in our place, we had a damaged intake vent for the system that we didn't find wasn't working until we moved in, and that just demonstrated how airtight these houses are. It's really difficult to live in this home without that system operating.
Yeah.
We've had the system up and running now for sort of the better part of 10 weeks, and amazing distinction. I'm almost happy now that we moved in with the system not working.
Just so you can appreciate the full value of your investment.
But also, like, you know, this whole project's been about learning, so it's kind of like actually having the downside to then the upside contrast. So what's it like living here? I think one of the really big things for me is the sustainability credentials of the home. We're in the middle of winter here in Melbourne, and you know, it's freezing cold outside. It's been a particularly cold winter this year already, and the internal temperature just sort of stays consistent compared to where we were living, which was sort of a, you know, old 40s sort of terrace house in Brunswick. Coming into this place,
it's kind of a real change from getting out of bed in the morning and having to flick on your heater to and it being absolutely freezing in a house, to getting out of bed in the morning and feeling really comfortable and being able to, you know, walk to the shower in bare feet and not be absolutely freezing. So it's really nice. It's very comfortable.
We had an innovative agenda for this project. Like we were pushing boundaries, and we were seeking to learn. This building, the construction system for this building is SIPS, so structurally insulated panel system, and it's highly efficient, very airtight, relatively untested in the Australian market. Archier designed it, we here versus Hide built it. We learned a lot about the potential of that construction system, and we're excited to explore its potential moving forward as well. We learned a lot about sort of its limitations, but we also learn a lot about its potential.
One of my favourite moments in the home, our bedroom has these really large timber windows facing north, and it's kind of the first windows to get morning light. And it's really beautiful in the morning, particularly in winter, with that kind of low-lying warm light that comes in.
There's a couple of different times of the day where the light hits this building and the recycled bricks really pop. So is that the light play on this building's like really kind of nice. Davison Collaborative kind of shows that one dwelling in the context of this laneway network can be turned into 3 dwellings, can be done responsibly, can be done effectively, and those 3 dwellings are worth somewhere between $1 million and 1.2. Now that's not cheap by any means, but it's significantly more accessible than 1.5 to 1.8 towards 2 million, and that's critical.
Yeah, it is.
That kind of gets to the heart of kind of like relative affordability, accessibility, what's accessible to sort of a young professional couple that wants to live in an area like this, versus something that, you know, is driven by policy that then creates something that's just not accessible.